I am Loki of Asgard, and I am burdened with glorious purpose.
Buddy, even you had no idea how right you were. Loki is now chilling on his throne at the end of time, literally holding everything together and allowing the infinite variant timelines to continue flourishing. For now, anyway. He's the god of stories, he who remains, and Yggdrasil from Norse mythology all rolled into one. But one question remains unanswered. Will we ever see him again? Maybe, because more than any other MCU character, he's the one worth saving and worth killing again. Poor Loki. Didn't want to be alone, but now he's about as alone as anyone could possibly be. Time works a lot differently for him these days, especially after having spent literal centuries trying to find a way to save the multiverse and his friends at the same time. Inside the Marvel Cinematic Universe, this particular Loki variant must think this is it for him. But is that even true? If this indeed was the last time we saw Tom Hiddleston play the trickster god, what an amazing goodbye. It was poetic, it ripped our hearts out, and at the same time, absolutely awesome to watch Loki ascend that staircase, pop those horns of his, and embrace his destiny. That final shot of him looking into the camera says it all, painting a picture of the tragic acceptance Loki has finally found at the end of time. In a lot of ways, the Loki series really transcended the whole popcorn media label that's been attached to Marvel movies and shows thanks to your Martin Scorseses and the like. More than any other character in the MCU, Loki went from good guy to bad guy and back again, learning hard lessons along the way only to ultimately fulfill his destiny by shouldering that glorious purpose in a way he never even imagined. If we as fans are waiting for our comic book media to grow up a little, it's hard to imagine a more fitting way to get there than this. What's more, if we had to choose an end for Loki, how in the multiverse could you ever top this? That should be Loki's end, but don't forget, this is Disney. If there's a single dime left to wring out of Loki's story, the company is going to capture that revenue. As an example, consider Indiana Jones for a second. Remember The Last Crusade? That absolutely should have been Indy's last crusade. They literally ride off into the sunset at the end, for crying out loud. But that wasn't the end, was it? George Lucas brought Indy back for Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, which was pre-Disney Lucasfilm deal. But in the year of our Lord, 2023, Disney sure enough brought Indy back for a second time for what we're told again is his last ride. And here we are, also in 2023, when the industry in general is asking the question of whether or not Marvel Studios can ever recapture the magic it cooked up in phases 1, 2, and 3, and at the same time, you have Loki, arguably the best character in the entire MCU, cooling his heels for eternity, not doing much but holding reality together, and probably giving the Time Stone its trademark emerald glow. For it's these reasons, among others, that this writer's opinion Loki is not going to stay there, well, for all time. Allowing the Loki series finale to serve as his official goodbye would be the most poignant thing to do, but if you're looking to inject new life back into a universe that could use a little boost, going back to one of your most popular characters has to at least be on the table. That said, if they bring Loki back again, it's our guess that it's because they're gonna kill him. For real. Like, for real. For real. Remember Avengers Infinity War? What am I saying? Of course you do! But what did our buddy Thanos do in that very first scene to let everybody know it's not f***ing around time anymore? He killed Loki, like so dead that even the Avengers' extremely flimsy time travel caper couldn't undo it. Right away, Thanos set the tone by killing off a character who was a fan favorite even back then. That death hurt, and it ensured that anyone with doubts would instantly take this villain seriously. Also didn't hurt when Thanos wiped the floor with Hulk in the same scene. Want to know what he's capable of? Here you go. we've got 2 Avengers movies on the horizon, the first of which is Avengers Kang Dynasty, right now set for a 2026 release, and the second, Avengers Secret Wars, is set for the very next year in 2027. So that's basically what Infinity War and Endgame did in 2018 and 2019. And by now, we've spent more time with Jonathan Majors' Kang and his variants than we ever spent with Thanos before he found Loki lacking in Infinity War. But if, at the outset of Kang Dynasty, the writers wanted to establish just how deadly their Kang variant is, once again, having him kill Loki might just be the best way to do that. What better way to make us hate Kang than to have him kill Loki, again, after everything that's happened? Who else in the Marvel Cinematic Universe would even be capable of reaching Loki and his throne? Well, a powered-up Kang variant probably could. And at this point, if anyone removed Loki from his spot, holding literally everything together, then that would probably also constitute an Avengers-level threat, and then some. Out here in our timeline, Tom Hiddleston has been pretty cagey about whether or not he'll ever return to the role.
It's the conclusion to season 2. It's also the conclusion to seasons 1 and 2. It's also the conclusion to 6 films and 12 episodes and 14 years of my life. Speaking for myself, Loki's died a few times, come back, I'm still here, so I don't know that that death is necessarily, I mean, death is up for grabs as an existential question.
In an interview with comicbook.com, Hiddleston revealed that he officially said goodbye to the role and to Marvel Studios twice before coming back as Loki for the Disney Plus series. The important thing is, Tom Hiddleston is not out there saying he's done as Loki. It's just like comic book deaths. Unless there's a body, that death didn't happen. Until we know that Loki is 100% off the board, there's always a chance we could see him or one of his variants again. Oh, by the way, speaking of seeing Loki's other variants again, the ending to The Marvels just teased the Young Avengers finally forming for real. Young Loki has been introduced in the MCU. He's surviving in what's left of the Void last time we saw him. I know it's not the same thing, but if young Loki appears in Young Avengers, then that could also be another time we see Loki again. Call it a multiversal loophole, or something. Anyway, summing up, it has not been made clear by Tom Hiddleston or Marvel Studios that the state we leave Loki in at the end of the series is the ultimate end of the character. Until we all hear otherwise, and we know about as much as you do at this point, Loki remains on the table. And unless Marvel is gonna kill him off for real, they should bring him back at some point. Let him man his post for a few millennia, and then bring him back in the way that matters and a way that does justice to the super deep character building Marvel has done with Loki. If there's anyone in the MCU worth saving, it's Loki. If there's anyone in the MCU worth killing off, it's Loki. Either way, I don't think this is the last we'll see of him. Thanks for watching, and for more Marvel, what if the studio's whole problem was how Avengers Endgame was too epic? Is that a thing? Check that out and decide for yourself, and don't forget to follow and subscribe to IGN wherever you like to watch.